Cruiser, and now for a view of the glass Harpoon by Robert Horne. It's a new book which I gather from Radio Adelaide's Terry Houghton is not just a good read, but also gives a unique insight into white settler and Kaurna people relations in the early days of the South Australian colony. Over to Terry Houghton to take up the story.
The Glass Harpoon by Robert Horne is a mostly fictional, engaging story of early colonial settlers in South Australia. Set in the early 1840s, this novel's narrative is centred on what happens to two brothers born into the merchant middle class in 19th century England. The narrative charts what happens to them in a colony set up as a model of Whig-inspired colonial enlightenment and explores the challenges, both physical and ideological, encountered by those settlers a long way from the familiar comforts of Britain in a new and in many ways harsh environment. The action is driven in large measure by the ideological tensions arising from those challenges. Central to the main theme of the novel is the fractious relationship between these early white settlers and the aborigines being gradually pushed aside, on one occasion in the book atrociously so, from their traditional homelands as white settlement sought to establish itself in the colony. As in real life, the tensions between white settlers and aborigines come to a head with a major, brutal and tragic physical contact between them. So, this is a book that depicts the still sensitive, and up until recently largely hidden, dark side to first settlement in the South Australian colony and our continent as a whole. At a time when we as a nation are still coming to terms with unpalatable aspects of Australia's white dominance over the continent's original inhabitants, the book invites us to experience this tension in a way which will be a welcome revelation for many and disturbingly uncomfortable for others. It's a great read with an engaging tale to tell and a strong theme offering us enlightenment on what early settlement was like in South Australia, and I strongly recommend it to listeners. Rob Horne is a retired school teacher with a postgraduate degree in creative writing who has several novels and short stories to his credit so far. So, Rob's novel, The Glass Harpoon, in addition to being a jolly good yarn, is a book with a purpose. It will certainly appeal to readers drawn more by its narrative. And it will certainly be the cup of tea of thinking readers wanting to enjoy his didactic purpose. His novel, is readily available in Dimmick's bookstores and in Adelaide's public libraries.
Terry Houghton from Radio Adelaide interviewing author Robert Horne on his recently published book entitled The Glass Harpoon. With time for Cahill Kelly, Salt of the Sea.